I wanted to do a special video addressing disordered eating and body image issues. I know from my personal experience with multiple years of anorexia, bulimia, and body dysmorphia that bled into even more years down the road. Currently, I can say I am recovered, but if you've ever suffered with this, you know that it never completely goes away. So if you've ever suffered with this before, this video is for you. If you are currently suffering from this, I hope that some of this can speak to you, although this is not medical advice. So please take it with a grain of salt and do what you can with it. But with my experience over the years working with people, particularly women, I would say about 80% of the women I work with have had a history of pretty severely disordered eating and body image issues. And then as far as men go, it's probably about 33%, I would guess. So that's a big chunk of people. So I wanted to address this since we've been on the topic of nutrition and losing weight and gaining muscle. So let's talk about two things, food and then body image. So with your eating, if you can prioritize fruits and vegetables first in your diet, that's gonna help replace a lot of the quote unquote bad or less ideal foods without feeling over restricted. So if you can really focus on getting 6 to 8 loose fist sized servings of fruits and vegetables per day, and then eat whatever else around that, that's gonna really help you take away this crazy focus on numbers and on weighing and measuring things. Keep it simple. Now, what you want to couple with this would be your protein. So make sure that you're getting ample protein. An easy way is gonna be, if you're eating 3-4 meals a day, get something about palm size, so like a chicken breast, 3 to 4 times a day. Or if you're having scrambled eggs, something that's about this size, serving about that size, or your ground turkey. Just go by loose guidelines, but prioritize your fruits, vegetables, and proteins first, and then eat whatever else around that. That is going to be something that can help you out. Now, let's talk about treats. I'm a big fan of including your treats every single day. You may think I'm crazy, but if you've not struggled with an eating disorder, I don't feel like you can judge or say too much if you haven't been in the thick of it before. So hang tight and just listen up. So allow treats every single day. At first, you may feel like you're kind of binging and triggered off of this, but what happens is when you're constantly allowed and giving yourself these treats every day, it becomes less of a thing that you're gonna binge on because you feel like you have easy access to it. You know you're gonna get some tomorrow. You know you had some last night or whenever it was. So you're not gonna have this huge feeling of, I'm gonna binge everything because I'm gonna have some tomorrow. I had some yesterday too. So it takes that away and it really will help you avoid a big binge. I've found that if we go on these big restrictive diets and you don't have any treats for 2 weeks, you're super squeaky clean. But then what happens? One day comes and you allow a little something, and then your whole day turns into just binging everything you can get, and then you're mad at yourself the next day, and either you say F it and you continue this cycle of binging, or you get so mad at yourself that then the next day you completely restrict and maybe you don't eat hardly anything for the next few days, and then you end up binging again. And it's this cycle that you cannot break. So I have found for me and my clients, what works best is allowing treats every single day. And like I said, at first it might be hard, it might be triggering, but it eventually starts to get to the point where you can now have treats in your house and not binge on them. And you can have a small amount or a satisfying amount every day. And that's gonna actually be way healthier for you physically and mentally than having those binges in there every once in a while. Something else that can be really triggering with food is fasting. I do not recommend fasting for anyone who has struggled with eating disorders or body dysmorphia. It is not helpful. It gives you that feeling of feeling skinny and hungry, and that can be addicting when you've struggled with eating disorders and body dysmorphia. And that's not good. And then that also can lead to the binge purge cycle. So let's avoid fasting You're better off having small meals throughout the day or just regular meals throughout the day. You may also need to avoid tracking your calories and macronutrients. That's kind of circling back to what I first talked to about prioritizing your fruits and vegetables and protein. If you get those in, chances are you're not going to be hungry enough to have a bunch of crap. So you don't really need to track for a while until you get this down, because tracking and counting can also feel really restrictive and really triggering. So I would advise you to first get a healthy relationship with food, be able to have treats every day and not binge before you start getting in an app and tracking all of your calories and macros. Last thing with food, expect bumps, expect hard days, expect days where you do binge, expect days where you binge and then the next day you don't eat. If you expect those days and know that it's not going to be perfect, it's easier to get back to what you were doing. So know that it's not going to be perfect. You are going to get triggered. You are going to go backwards sometimes, but progress is not linear, right? You're going to make some progress, feel really good, not have triggers, and then you're going to fall off and something's going to trigger you. You're going to have a horrible day or a week or a month, but can you get back on it and start to climb again? And then you have another one, but it's not so bad. You recover a little sooner. Then you have another one, but maybe you recover even sooner, the next meal or the next morning. And you slowly start to break these horrible, big, long cycles. So just knowing that you're going to slip up, it's going to happen, is helpful, because then you can get back to it a little sooner and a little easier. Now let's talk about body image issues related to the gym and your workouts. First of all, if you come to our gym, you will see there's no mirrors in our workout floors. Yes, it can be helpful for feedback to see yourself working out, but you can videotape yourself and get feedback if you really want that. The mirrors are not helpful. When I was having my struggles with eating disorders, it made everything worse. All I did was pick myself apart in the mirror when I was trying to lift and work out. So for me, it was helpful to get rid of that. And then I'm only focusing on how's my body moving? How is this feeling? And that helped me out so much. Now, talking about that, performance, how you train, what your training looks like, how strong you're getting, how fast you're getting, what your conditioning is like. Focusing on improving your performance as opposed to looking at body fat and muscle mass. If you are getting stronger, if you are getting in better conditioning shape, that means you're gaining some muscle and losing body fat. When you get lighter, you also get better at these conditioning type of workouts and gymnastics workouts. And when you're getting stronger and stronger and stronger, you are putting on some muscle mass. So if you can really just purely focus on, I'm going to eat well because I want to perform well. I want to eat well so that I can recover faster and get in the gym sooner and make more gains, make more progress in the gym. That is such a better focus than focusing on the scale. I came from a bodybuilding background that was purely aesthetics focused, and then switched over to more of CrossFit, powerlifting, Olympic lifting type of training. And I wanted to lift more. I wanted to do muscle ups. I wanted to do pull-ups. I didn't care what the scale said. I didn't care what my abs looked like. I wanted to freaking flip around on those rings, and I wanted to throw 200 pounds over my head, and I wanted to deadlift 350. So chasing that allowed me to stop worrying about the scale. It was like, I don't care if I weigh 150 or 180. If I can do all of those things, chances are my body is going to look badass anyways if I'm capable to do that. And I'm going to feel so good because I can do all of those things. So focusing on performance can really help out. A few other things quickly. Stop focusing on weighing yourself. We actually don't even have a scale in our house anymore because there's non-scale things to look for. So how your clothes are fitting, if they're starting to fit better or looser, if you have, if you think you have quite a bit to lose, or maybe a little tighter in areas where you're wanting to put muscle on. That is some feedback you can get. Look at your strength numbers. Are you getting stronger? Look at your conditioning. Are you getting in better shape? Can you run farther and faster? Can you row stronger and faster? Are you doing more burpees easier than before? How's your skin and hair? When you're eating healthy and your body is well fed and it's supporting your skeletal system, your muscular system, and not excess body fat, you're going to have lush, beautiful hair. Your skin is going to be glowing. You will radiate health When we're not in that zone, that's when we see dullness, right? We are a reflection of what we're eating. How's your mood? How's your energy level? When you are eating to support your body in an ideal state, which is an athletic, strong, lean state, you are gonna have a more stable mood. You're gonna be filled with energy, and that's even if you're not getting ideal sleep. I'm a mom of 3, one is still a baby, the oldest is 5. Sleep doesn't happen for me, and I still feel like my skin looks pretty dang good for, I'm going on almost a year of, I do not get 3-hour stretches of sleep at night ever. And then energy levels, how are you feeling without caffeine? If you are constantly needing caffeine all the time, look at your nutrition. Chances are it's not where it should be. So those are all signs that you could look at instead of weighing yourself on the scale. How's my nutrition going? How's my fitness going? Those things are all linked together. Last thing, as far as this is kind of a combination of body image and food, try to gain some muscle. No matter where you're at, try to gain some muscle. The more muscle you have, the easier you're gonna be, the easier time you're gonna have burning fat. It raises your basal metabolic rate. So that means even at rest, you're burning more. So you will have an easier time getting leaner and staying leaner. You're gonna be stronger, you're gonna be fitter. It supports your skeletal system better, especially those of us who are, looking at 40 plus. You start to see some loss in muscle mass over the years unless you eat enough protein and you train hard enough. So getting enough muscle is important. So make sure that you're eating enough and that you're eating well, because having a lot of muscle will help a lot of this in regards to disordered eating and body image. I hope this is helpful. And I know this is speaking to a certain population of people, but that population of people, we need to hear this, right? Over and over and over. And even though I've been recovered for probably about 15 years, like very confidently recovered, I still need to hear this stuff all the time. And I just want to say too that I'm proud I can eat 4 Reese's and not beat myself up the next day. It's a big, important thing to get to have that good relationship with food in your body. So I love you if you're suffering with this, and if you're not, I hope you never do, because it is terrible. It's hard to get out of, but you can get out of it. So I'm sending you love and light if this is something you've suffered with or do suffer with. Thanks for tuning in.